Back in the 1880s, there was a bit of a backlash against doctors, and people started using home remedies instead. And a bunch of deceitful entrepreneurs pounced on this opportunity and started creating potions and elixirs that they claimed had a wide variety of medical benefits. The truth was that they were mostly dangerous, ineffective concoctions of various different chemicals. But with no regulation, they could claim whatever health benefits they wanted, so business was booming. One popular patent medicine was called Vin Mariani, which contained a mix of wine and cocaine that supposedly cured almost any ailment or sickness whatsoever, as long as you drank 3 glasses every day. And one person who absolutely loved this drink was a man named John Pemberton, a war veteran who had been severely injured in battle. The doctors had actually thought he was going to die and dosed him up on morphine to try and mask the pain for his final few hours. But John somehow survived. However, he did develop a serious morphine addiction, which is why when he discovered Vin Mariani, he became hooked on the drink. He thought it was helping him overcome his morphine addiction, and of course after drinking it, he really did feel better. But that's not because it was medicinal, it's because it contained wine and cocaine. But since Pemberton loved the drink, and he was a chemist himself, he decided to create his own version. And in 1884, he launched French wine coca, which was basically a rip-off of Vin Mariani with a couple more ingredients added. And yet, this knockoff drink would soon become Coca-Cola. Now, to be fair to Pemberton, he wasn't some snake oil salesman trying to deliberately rip people off. He really believed in his products. However, Pemberton's timing was terrible. Just a year later, Prohibition hit, with many states banning alcohol. Pemberton had to take the wine out of his drink and replace it with carbonated water. But this left the drink tasting very bitter, so he added a huge amount of sugar to counteract that. Now that the wine was removed, he could continue selling French wine coca. But they needed a new name. Luckily, Pemberton's bookkeeper, Frank Robinson, came up with a catchy sounding suggestion, Coca-Cola. Now, the company would later claim that the name doesn't mean anything, and it's just a nice sounding alliteration. Of course, this isn't true. The name was a reference to the drink's 2 main ingredients, the cola nut, which contained caffeine, and the coca leaf, which contained cocaine. To this day, Coca-Cola deny their formula has ever contained cocaine, despite the fact it's extremely well documented it contained the coca leaf, which contains cocaine. Eventually, by 1929, they would find a way to remove all the active cocaine from the coca leaves, once it became clear that cocaine wasn't quite the magical medicine they'd first thought. But back in the 1880s, nobody was worried about the cocaine in the drink, so now that the wine had been removed, Coca-Cola could continue being sold. The only problem is not many people were buying it. Pemberton was still trying to sell people on the medicinal aspect of the drink. Early ads for Coca-Cola described it as a harmless, wonderful brain tonic that relieves headaches and upset stomachs. But sales were slow, because there were countless other patent medicines offering the same thing, so Coke didn't really stand out. Meanwhile, Pemberton was becoming increasingly ill. His pain was worsening, his addiction growing stronger, and by 1888, John Pemberton was dead. The tragedy is, he had absolutely no idea that his drink would soon become one of the most well-known drinks on the entire planet.